Hey guys, welcome back. Alright, picking up where we left off in Chapter 4, Peacetime. An invitation to dinner. Commoners are still flocking to Anizati. Refugees from villages that have been squeezed dry. Miners have lost their jobs. Craftsmen who have lost their last coin. They all come to the city in search of shelter, safety, and justice. Makeshift shacks litter the outskirts of the city, steadily growing into shanty towns. Every day, the people of Anizati see more men and women hanging around the streets, looking for work, leaving their children in the care of the most infirm and elderly of the refugees. Of all the powerful people in the city, Mayor Egmont is the only one who considers this a problem. He has ordered several of his warehouses to be converted into shelters and began distributing bread to the refugee free of charge. You and Sophia are sitting on the roof of an apartment building, watching people huddle around a wagon. The red line stretches to the small square between the buildings yesterday, but today it disappears down the back streets with no end in sight. Look at those poor bastards, Sophia says. They've been betrayed by their own masters. The nobles robbed them blind, razed their villages, and left them to die. Back-breaking labor, endless suffering, dying to the gutter. That's all they ever given to them. Would any of them blasted nobles even move a finger to help the refugees? Not on your life. Mayor Egmont's the only one who cares. He's the only chance for survival. Say, Brant, I hear Augustine and Elmborn and Mayor Egmont have both been invited to your house for dinner. That true? How does Sophia know about this? Father asked you to keep it a secret. What difference does it make? You should have told me. Do you have any idea what this dinner means? It's a sit-down, Brant. They could be deciding the fate of our city, the fate of the last straw, the fate of our rebellion. You've got to get me invited to that dinner. Tell them I'm your friend or fiancé, your lover, I don't care. Just find some excuse for me to be there. Okay, so I can invite Sophia to the dinner. You have no qualms about inviting Sophia to the dinner and introducing her to the family. I can agree with her if she's embittered. Under some consideration, you invite Sophia to the dinner and introduce her to the family. Give in to demands. Despite your misgivings, you invite Sophia to the dinner, or you could refuse. I think inviting her is better. It's going to get back on her good side, and it might strengthen things. Of course, Sophia can come to the dinner tonight, but she is going to need a proper outfit. No worries, Brant. I can behave in noble society. Time for the dinner party arrives. The Brant house prepares for its guests. You cannot remember the last time your entire family got together like this. Father is unusually focused and serious today. Mother is wearing father's wedding gift, a precious brooch adorned with gems. To her, it is a small act of defiance. Commoners may not indulge in luxury, but today is a special day indeed. And she has found the courage to dare this small transgression. Stefan is more carefree and high-spirited than usual. He always enjoys his uncle's visits. Nathan is as quiet and furtive and inconspicuous as ever. Gloria, however, only smiles to herself. Sophia is sitting at the table to your left. Family casts curious glances at her. From time to time, it feels so strange to see her here at home, together with your family. Mother is the first to acknowledge her presence. Sophia, John told us he was inviting someone important to him, but he never mentioned that this someone was a charming young lady. Pray tell, how did you and my son meet? Sophia lets the question hang in the air with an absent-minded chuckle. You have to answer, respond for her. She is an old friend of yours. You can explain the two of you have reconnected for the first time in years. Thought a family dinner would be the perfect time to place to meet again. Servants soon announce the guest's arrival. Baron Augustine Elborn and Mayor Egmont greet the master and mistress of the house. One after another, they take their seats at the dinner table. After the traditional exchange of pleasantries, you enjoy an exquisite dinner followed by wine. There would ordinarily be dessert for Stefan and father, but today the noblemen make do with the wine. Elborn and Egmont finally began to discuss the droves of commoners seeking refuge in the city. I must confess, Egmont, I don't understand your motivation here. Are you moved by an honest desire to help people or the expectation of some inscrutable profit. Regardless, you have to put an end to this before it's too late. The food and shelter you offer them only serves to attract more and more refugees to Anizati. And when they finally fill the streets, what are you going to do then? What am I going to do? The Archduke, the Overseer, what are they going to do? Have you ever considered this? Please understand me. I harbor no ill will towards these people. But Gaius Tempest is concerned that they will eventually start causing trouble. Archduke Lindis is looking for any excuse to march his punitive battalion into the city. Mayor, is that really what you want? With all due respect, Sir Prefect, I cannot do what you ask. These people have nowhere else to go, no one else will help them. Here in Anizati, at least I can offer them food and shelter. Are you really asking me to let them starve to death? Do not deceive yourself, Augustine. I was one of those who welcomed the first overseer at first. Just like all the rest, I hoped that the common estate would get a little more breathing room under his rule. But what did Gaius Tempest do? He started this power struggle with the Archduke. He made the double tax possible. He signed the ban on gunpowder. A ban on gunpowder. And in Bagara, of all places, a province that lives off of silver ore we mine. Which is why, Sir Alborn, I do not trust the Arcanians or the nobility anymore. No, sir, I will not rely on their generosity. The only way I can accomplish anything in this world is by myself, by the sweat of my brow, by sticking my neck out for others. Augustine, you are the only noble in the imperial government I can still trust. You are known throughout the city as the protector of the lowly estate, so protect the lowly estate. Offer protection to the refugees. Convince the overseer to let them stay here. Let them save their lives. Let me save their lives. Augustino Borro replies, I am very sorry, Egmont, but that is impossible. Gaius Tempest has made it very clear that I cannot resolve this situation. If I cannot resolve the situation, he will bring the legion into the city and deal with it himself. It pains me to say this, but those people would be better off leaving the city, or maybe even Magra. You must realize this. They should go to Illyria or some other place to start new lives. The only thing waiting for them here in Anizati is death. There's nothing I can do to help them. You glance at Sophia warily. Her brows are furrowed, and her hands are balled into fists. She interrupts Alborn without warning. Enough. Everyone turns to her in surprise. Did a low-born woman just have the audacity to raise her voice while important men were talking? That's enough. You are Baron Augustine Alborn, the prefect of Magna, protector of the common folk, the last hope for people like me. You're all we've got. Mayor Egmont is right. The Arcanians don't care about us at all. As far as Melendis and the Tempest are concerned, we don't even exist. Every commoner in the city knows there's only one noble in Anizati who actually cares, and that's you, Sir Alborn. Not the Overseer, not the Archduke, not the Magistrate, not the Patriarch. None of them. You're the only man who can change things in the city. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? The Overseer needs your support. He trusts you. He'll listen to you. You don't have to be afraid of him. If you speak to him on behalf of the people, he won't ignore you. I'm begging you, don't betray us. Don't betray all the trust we placed in you. Help Mayor Egmont save these people. The ambient candlelight glimmers and sparkles, reflecting in Sophia's eyes. My apologies, ma'am. We have not been introduced. Sophia, a commoner. A lengthy silence hangs over the room. No one knows what to do. Everyone holds their breath, waiting for Augustine Alborn to react. Thank you, Sophia. Your words. You ought to thank this young lady, Mayor. You may have my support. Refugees may stay. Do your best to give them decent shelter and food, and see if there is any work they can do. I'll see if I can convince the Archduke that they pose no threat. I'll take steps to keep the streets straight. The guests thank their host for the hospitality, then leave one after another. You walk Sophia to a carriage. She bids you goodbye with the usual preoccupied look and curt silent nod. The next day, Augustine Alborn makes a statement to the people of Anizati. The prefecture and the lesser quorum have reached an agreement. The refugees arriving in the city will be offered temporary shelter and provisions. No announcements from the overseer are forthcoming. Discontent rises. That's good. We need discontent's at 6. Stefan's Gambit. This event is a consequence of your previous action. Conditions met. Oh. Alright, so what do we need for a free city? Spy network's less than 6. Unrest is greater than or equal to 8. So I need to boost it unrest up 2 in order to get them a free city. You have hardly found any time for family matters this year. The events taking place in the city keep you busy at all hours. Tonight you come home extremely late, but the fireplace in the sitting room is lit. By the fire you see Stefan with a glass of wine. Your elder brother has been waiting for you. Take a seat in the chair by Stefan's side. Your brother keeps turning his glass with his long fingers. John, we need to talk about Gloria. She flatly refuses to behave as she ought to. Her antics are ruining our family's reputation. If this situation persists, nobility, the sword will be out of the question. Brother, I do not wish her ill, but we have no right to sit idly by. Regrettably, Gloria will never truly be a part of the Brante family. Her origins are too tarnished, so it is our duty to find her a new family. It is high time Gloria got married. But we can't just give our sister to a commoner, can we? How could any noble wed her, knowing her origins? It's been a stumbling block for a long time, but I finally found a suitable match for her. His name is Jose El Peltier. He is a young nobleman of the sword, recently graduated from college, and now he has a position at the city hall. Do you recall a reception several years ago where he couldn't take his eyes off Gloria? Peltier has been obsessed with her ever since. She's not even her lowly origins can deter him. Admittedly, Gloria does not reciprocate his affection just yet, so let us convince Gloria that Sir El Pietier's bride is her chance to escape her current situation. And then let us pray that she comes to her senses and puts her rebellious ways behind her. Isn't this an ideal solution? After marrying El Pietier, Gloria will be a noblewoman herself. We'll be granting her the freedom she craved since she was a girl, and then she can write poetry and do whatever else takes her fancy. I will enter into negotiations with El Pietier's family. Rumor has it Jose's father already has a future wife in mind for him, the daughter of an important chancellery official, but Jose's passion must win out in the end. Don't you agree? As for you, John, please help with Gloria. You're close with her. You can make her see how beneficial this match will be. She must fulfill her duty to the family that took her in, after all. Stefan looks at you expectantly. You are at a crossroads. You accept your brother's plan or refuse it. Will this marriage be a blessing, and for whom? Alright, let's take a look at Destiny. We'll take a look at Gloria here. Family outcomes. I don't want Unity to fall below 2. That could be really bad. Family is at 3, so one more and it could be bad. Okay, well, let's take a look at Gloria's fate. We need Unity to be above 8. Gloria Brante. How will we help this? What is Gloria's outcome? Free city, free man. It must be family of peace, and there's Gloria not betrothed. I think this is good. I think it could be useful. I'm gonna agree to this. And the reasoning is simple, because if Gloria does end up winning out and gets betrothed, has a good relationship, then this can mightily improve the family and give her the freedom necessary. So I think it could work out. You remain silent for some time, weighing your decision. The plan your brother has proposed sounds reasonable. In a new family and with a noble title, Gloria would be able to put all the resentment about her fate behind her and be free of the limitations of a lowly estate. You let Stefan know that you are on his side. A broad smile lightens up his face as he reclines in his chair. I know you'd be sensible. Together, we can certainly make it happen. But remember how stubborn Gloria is. An easy victory is not to be expected. Next morning, you invite Gloria to join you in the library for a private conversation. You inquire carefully about your sister's thoughts on marriage. If a nobleman of the sword were to wed her, she would join the noble estate, and all the arts would be open to her. Gloria laughs in response. Become a noblewoman? In all of Enizati, you'll never find a single nobleman of the sword who would ever marry a low-born girl like me. I don't even have a father. You mentioned Jose Alpiente. This spirited young gentleman would be willing to give Gloria in wedlock. Join Gloria in wedlock. Marry El Piete? John, you don't understand. Sure, he's easy on the eyes. He's a skilled warrior and a respected nobleman. But he's been after me for a year now, and I managed to figure out what he's after. He needs a wife to give birth to his heirs. I follow him around obediently at the social gatherings and praise his chivalry. Can you see me in that role? Gloria falls silent for a moment, gathering her thoughts. Besides, I don't even want to be a noblewoman, okay? I can't just live peacefully within the noble estate knowing that other commoners are still suffering. I can't just pretend their misery has nothing to do with me. You try to give her a taste of the benefits that a noble man name bears, but your sister doesn't even want to hear it. This is all Stefan's idea, isn't it? You'd never throw me out of the house on your own. So hear this, it's not going to happen. Later you inform Stefan of your sister's refusal. His face turns to stone. Ingrate. I've almost come to an agreement with old El Pierte. All the pains we've taken to arrange her future, and this is how she repays us? Well, we'll proceed without consulting her. Brother, you need to devise a way to put pressure on Gloria, even if it takes us a long time. Getting even. Felipe left Enizati for the capital last night on urgent business. He gave you both direct and unambiguous orders before he left. Cease all activity and wait for him to return. A month of freedom, an entire month of peace. Is this real? Can you finally stop and catch your breath? But unfortunately, you do not even get to enjoy the thought of freedom for long. As noon approaches, Sophia appears on the doors of your office. She has risks to visit in the middle of the day. This must be urgent. What brings her here? Dorius Auten. Ring a bell? You know, the High Commander of Magara, an Arcanian, former master, rapist, murderer, all-around piece of shit. I've been keeping tabs on him ever since I got back in Enizati. Here's what it gets interesting, Brant. Turns out Felipe Alfaro isn't the only guy trying to take advantage of the chaos to make it grab for power. There's a noble revolt brewing, way up in the upper echelons. Melendez's followers are itching to rebel against Overseer Tempest. But Dorius Auten is one of the heavies. You see where I'm going with this? All Gaius Tempest's authority comes from the Imperial Legion swords. And the guy in charge of them all, the High Commander of the province, that's Auten. And he can't wait to betray the Overseer and hand all the power over to the Archduke. If this revolt goes through, everything we're worked up for will go up in smoke. We can't let this happen. We need to expose Auten as the traitor he is and give Gaius Tempest all the proof. What about Felipe? What does he have to say about this? We don't even know where Felipe is right now. He's incognito. We'll have to go against his orders and act on our own. We've got no time to waste either. They could spring into action at the drop of a hat. Sophia's voice is trembling. You are not used to hearing her like this. You ask her why she is so eager to take Auten down. Is she out for revenge? I'm more worried about the last straw's future than revenge, but I'm gonna level with you. If I had my way, I'd love nothing more than to strangle Auten with my bare hands. Sicking the Overseer on him is the next best thing. As usual, Sophia's sounds level-headed, and makes a solid point, but you cannot help but feel she is hiding something. Should you defy Felipe's order and aid her? Was it a good idea to get involved in the struggle between the province's two most powerful Arcanians? Well, the only choice I have is to refuse. You shake your head. No, I will not help Sophia with this. You dope. You think Philip's gonna save you if you're a good boy? But hey, it's your funeral. I'm disappointed. With that, Sophia leaves. A few days later, you hear that a gang of street thugs tried to break into Auden's mansion, but failed and were killed on the spot. Was this Sophia's attempt to follow through on her plan without you? Either way, you cannot be blamed for this. Only a fool would ever defy an Arcanian as powerful as Autumn. Anyway, she is alive. You drive away the worrisome thoughts. Freedom awaits you, an entire month of freedom. You should enjoy it to the fullest before Felipe El Ferro returns to Anizati. Family fault. Mark of dishonor. Recent events have dealt a crushing blow to the reputation of the Brante family. You have slipped into the realm of infamy and disgrace. So far, the other noble families of the city have patiently endured your transgression, but now you have lost face in their eyes. Oh gosh, noble society is eager to bring your every dusty scandal back to light, old offenses, ancient grievances, and naturally father's marriage to Lydia, Brante, and Gloria's noble origins. And they have surely not forgotten that the sons of Robert and Lydia Brante, John and Nathan, were born out of wedlock. None of the nobles will ever say this to your face. Of course, their behavior will seem perfectly ordinary on the surface. No matter where you go, you will be followed by scornful glances and dismissive whispers. You have to accept this and humbly bear this burden. All hope of being ennobled by the sword is lost. No matter what we do to restore our name, we will never wash away this mark of dishonor. Oh no, and Unity's below too. This is so painful. This is so painful. Ironman mode is so hard. Honestly, it is. Year 1143, the last straw. Rumors are running wild in Anizati. People say that a mysterious clandestine society called the Last Straw holds the entirety of the city's seedy underbelly in its clutches, with men in safe houses all over Anizati, plotting and scheming against the nobles and rulers of the province. Their leader is a woman, a ruthless criminal by the name of Sophia. She has evaded all attempts at capture. Common people both feel the last straw and sympathize with their cause. The rumors are true. The city finally has someone who will stop at nothing to help the people claim their rights. But who would support this secret organization? How did the insurgents manage to survive this long? No one in the city knows the answers. Magistrate Elverma must assuage the people's fears once again. The vile mutineers and heretics who call themselves the Last Straw will be caught and executed very soon. And anyone who has given them money and shelter will meet the same fate. The secret chancery will make sure of that. But even facing a manhunt, the Last Straw still endures. Slowly but surely, the influence of this underground organization is spreading throughout the city. Order is going down, wealth is, well, almost gone. Power struggle continues. The hard goodbye. Night falls upon the city, shrouding it in darkness, dotting the sky with stars. The din of the street dies down slowly. Soon the heavy footfalls of gendarmerie patrols is the only sound you hear. You are at the end. You are at the print shop, tying up the day's loose ends. There's a sudden knock at the door. Sophia walks in without a word, holding a half-empty bag. She heads to the room containing the shop's records. Somewhere in there, under piles of paperwork, is a crate with her things in it. Sophia pushes the papers aside and starts shoving her things in the bag. She barely looks at you. What is going on? She freezes, as though noticing you for the first time, then pulls up a chair. She sits down and lights her pipe. I was with Felipe just now. I'm leaving for a long time. Could be a whole year. Gotta recruit, piss off people for the last straw from all over Magro. He thinks we're already found everyone here in Anizati. Is she going alone? Sophia nods, exhaling smoke. Yep, Felipe's orders. Says it's safer that way. He needs you here. Her eyes are trained on you. You notice yellow light glimmering deep within them. Even without the underground movement, Sophia is just as dangerous on her own. If Felipe actually thinks she is going to recruit hundreds of more people to die for his scheme, Sophia puffs out ring after ring. They slowly dissolve in the air, filling the room with critic smoke. There is no hiding from her light blue eyes. A gentle smile plays on her lips. Just don't botch the whole thing while I'm gone, okay, Brant? You nod, and awkward silence follows. Deep inside Sophia's pipe, a red spark flares back to life. She knew you would be at the print shop alone tonight. Did she really come here just to tell you this? She does not look away. Oh gosh. So I can wish her a safe journey. Swear to remain loyal to her no matter what. I promise to protect her. Tell her how you feel. Confess your love for her. You only have one option. You look Sophia in the eye and wish her good luck and safe travels. There is plenty of danger on the road, in Magara, especially now, in these troubled times, but you are confident that Sophia will survive and thrive no matter where she goes. She nods and looks away. Yeah, you're right. I'll be okay. You better be okay too, John. I can't help you anymore. From now on, you're on your own. Be careful who you trust, and don't get yourself caught. Sophia stands up, slings her bag over her shoulder, and hands you a sheet. It contains a misericord, a long, slender dagger. You accept the parting gift. A moment later, the door closes quietly behind her. Only then do you realize that she was waiting for something from you. Something more than just a few kind words and a good luck wish. Sophia is gone now. The moment has passed. You are alone. The last straw rests solely on your shoulders now. Well, crushing. The Legion in the city. How much more do we need? Free city, we need at least unrest greater than or equal to 8. The unrest in Magara is growing by the day. More and more commoners flock to the streets and squares, trying to make their voices heard by the nobility. The crowds have become too large for the Germandis to disperse. They can no longer be ignored. For the first time in years, the ruling estate seems to have seen the people for the terrifying power they represent, and they have decided to fight fire with fire. In spite of all resistance offered by the Prefect Elborn and the Lesser Quorum, the magistrate and the aristocracy finally get their way. Overseer Tempest deploys troops to the city. The streets and squares are packed on this ill-fated day. Hidden in the crowd, you watch 2 battalions of Imperial Legion march triumphantly down the streets of Anizati. The banners of Magara and the Tempest dynasty soar proudly above the soldier's head. Gaius Tempest leads the battalions himself atop a white Monia stallion. To his right, you see the young captain of the battalion. He looks familiar. It is Thomas Garrow. Then the procession reaches the Golden Square. It stops so the overseer can address the people. Battalions, defensive formation. Legion soldiers spring into action, slamming their weapons against their shields as they move. Their ranks shift in an eerie harmony down to their last man, like an enormous, uncanny machine, and then they all stop at once in an instant. The square grows silent. The overseer's booming voice echoes for all to hear. People of Anizati, I have heard your cry for help and come to this city accompanied by my loyal soldiers. The Imperial Legion will bring order to Anizati and put an end to all riots and crime. These soldiers will protect you from the schemes of rebellious nobles, insidious insurgents, and anyone else who seeks to spark unrest. I am Gaius Tempest, the overseer of Magara, Anizati. By the Emperor's decree, I rule this land. Those who question my rule question the Emperor's rule as well, and they will be executed as rebels and insurrectionists. You hear whispers throughout the square. The Legion's arrival is a harbinger of change. But how drastic will this change be? Even at home, the Legion is the only topic of conversation during dinner. Stefan Brante says, thank the twins, Gaius Tempest has finally decided to act. Insolent. Those low-born scum have grown far too insolent of late, ought to be reminded of their place with an iron fist. Intimidating the people won't do anyone any good, Stefan. They have valid reasons for taking to the streets, but instead of hearing them out, the overseer is hiding behind his soldiers. It is disgraceful. I think Gloria is right. Everyone's really scared. A lot of my friends want the Legion to leave the city too. Those friends of yours know nothing, Nathan. Their lot is to work and suffer, not wag their tongues. Oh, we're so sorry, Sir Stephen. We forgot that only blue bloods can rule. Too bad all that inbreeding hasn't made them any smarter. Enough bickering, you two. You clearly don't understand what's going on here. The purpose of the Overseer's move is, first and foremost, to thwart the plot against him, set in motion by Archduke Melendez's loyal clique of nobles. Commoners are a secondary matter. By the way, John, I've heard the battalion is being led by an old stewmate of yours. He hasn't told you anything about what Gaius Tempest is up to, has he? You have not seen Thomas in a long time. He has not told you anything. That's too bad. Oh well, I suppose time will tell. Whatever the Legion is here in Alizati, it is a force that must be reckoned with. And as luck would have it, Thomas is the command of it. Is there any way for you to turn the situation to the last straw's advantage? If I can use Thomas, I have the bond of friendship, so I can use him. You ask him to violate his order and let the peoples protest despite the risk of incurring the Overseer's wrath. You convince Thomas to cooperate. You are prepared to give Thomas the names of the commoners inciting unrest in the city. In exchange, you will recruit several Legion officers as secret chancellery informants. Incite the common people to riot against them. You start printing leaflets condemning the presence of Gaius Tempest and the Legion in the city. Yeah, I think this one is best. We're trying to increase unrest, right? Unrest is right now at 6. So if we increase this to 7, people are ready for the struggle. We need to get this to 8 before the end. So we'll use Thomas. You and Thomas have known each other ever since you were boys. You used to play on these very streets, pretending to be heroes of old, fighting the great battles of the past. Now Thomas commands the Legion soldiers sent to Alizati to quash the unrest, while you command the last straw and have spent several years preparing the city for a full-scale revolt. There it is, the ruins of Char Melendez's palace. The remains of your childhood fort still stand among the crumbling stonework. Thomas arrives alone, without any soldiers to guard him. He wears a suit of armor and vibrant cloak of a commanding officer, a sword by his side. His shoulders have grown ever broader, and he treads firmly. You spot a few early gray threads in his hair. Your old friend has changed quite a bit, but he still recognizes you with the same bright smile, just as the good old days. John, am I glad to see you. After a warm embrace, you congratulate your old friend on his promotion. Oh, it's nothing, but this was a good idea, meeting you here like this. And look, there's our old fort. Can you believe it's still there after all these years? It feels like a dream whenever I'm back in Alizati. So much has happened. I've become a nobleman, joined the Legion, got promoted to captain, but everything here is just as it was. Even those old wooden planks we lugged all the way here are still standing. You interrupt Thomas's reminiscence. This is no time for nostalgia. You have something important to discuss. Thomas's face grows serious. I'm listening, John. I'll help if I can. It is not about you explain. You want Thomas to hear you out, not as a battalion commander, but as your old friend, who grew up right here on the streets of Alizati. The power struggle between Gaius Tempest and Tarquinius Melendez has starved Magara and shuttered the lives of many of your friends. The people are at the end of their rope. They cannot live like this any longer. They will never stop protesting because their only hope is to get Overseer to listen to them. The protesters are not a handful of insurgents. you tell Thomas. No, they are all people he has known his entire life, and they are only protesting because they have no other choice. If the Legion soldiers try to stop them, there will be blood. Thomas will have to slaughter his own people. You do not want this for him. You do not want this for the people of Enizati. This can't be, Brant. What do you mean? The Overseer isn't listening? That's why my battalions are here, to bring peace back to the people, to show them the Overseer cares about them and wants to protect them. Thomas has been away from Enizati for a long time. People have grown desperate. They now see Legion soldiers as enemies rather than protectors. Sooner or later, they will clash. The only way to prevent bloodshed is for the Legion to allow the people to be heard by the Overseer. And the more people assemble, the sooner he will hear them. What are you saying? How can you ask me like this? I'm here to stop that from happening. If I go against the Overseer's orders, why, that's treason. Do you know what they do to traitors? They hang me without a second thought. You raise your hand in a conciliatory gesture. Obviously, you don't want your friend to be punished, but some things just have to be said. There are so many lives at stake here, and Thomas is in a position to make a difference. Thomas sighs anxiously, rubbing his forehead. You're right about one thing, John. I haven't been in Enizati for a long time. I'll take a look around, see things for myself, and if you're right, then maybe I'll think about it. Certainly, you reply. That is all you ask. The city is quiet for the next week. People slowly grow accustomed to the sight of Legion soldiers patrolling the streets, but remain nervous around them, just the same. A fortnight after the conversation with your old friend, a letter arrives. Dear Brant, you were right. I spoke with my friends and families and acquaintances, simple folk, and it's true. They got nothing left but hope. I also met with nobles, including the Overseer himself, and none of them even want to see how they're driving the city off a cliff. I'm a warrior, not a butcher. I will not allow the Legion to silence the people with steel no matter what. It is time to act. A sea of people fill the Chancellery Square. The Legion soldier stands between the mob and the Chancellery itself. Thomas's vibrant cloak flashes here and there. Behind their backs, they stand with their shields together, and the spears are pointed upward rather than at the protesters. They do not take a single step toward the crowd. You personally instruct your comrades to make sure the gathering remains peaceful, but you are still terrified to see so many people amassed in one place. You cannot see Alid, Fuad, Oliver, but you can hear one voice from after another begin shouting from various parts of the mob. More and more voices join the chant. Legion out of Enizati. Legion out of Enizati. Legion out of Enizati. The Legion battalions remain frozen in place like stone statues. They do not let the commoners reach the Chancellery walls, but they do not disperse them either. An hour passes like this, then another. Chanting dies down, only to begin again and again. Father Fahad's speeches keep the mob on edge. Oliver's paid barkers do their job. Alida voice stokes the fire in the hearts of the young people, but the people are getting tired. Did you miscalculate? Has the Overseer left the city for the day? The Chancellery door swings open. The Overseer is here after all. He raises a hand, and a shiver runs through the horde. Square falls silent. Good people of Enizati, your voice has been heard. In the name of the Emperor, you have my word that if you leave the square quickly and peacefully, my battalions will vacate the city. But if any of you are still in the square 1 hour hence, my battalions will restore order. Once the Overseer finishes his speech, he turns and disappears inside the Chancellery. Silence follows. For a brief moment, people are dumbstruck. Then they begin to disperse. Their elation grows. They have been heard. They have won. You leave the square along with them. The last straw has won the day. You got what you wanted. Battalions leave the city by night. An Arcanian always keeps his promise. The next day starts with yet another fight in the Brand household. Gloria gleefully gloats over yesterday's event. Stefan responds with an outburst of rage. He is still furious over the Overseer's perceived weakness. Your head begins to ache from their shouting and foul language. Is one day of peace too much to ask? Several days pass. There is a knock at the door. Thomas is standing there, dressed in plainclothes, no vibrant officer's cloak, no sword by his side. What happened? Your old friend just chuckles. See what I get for listening to you, Brant? We're in the same estate again, just like in the old days. You do not know what to say. You never wanted this. It's okay, Brant. You didn't force my hand. It was my choice. I don't regret it. I'd rather be a commoner than a butcher. I came to say goodbye. I've been ordered by the overseer to leave Anizati and never come back. Oh well, beats getting executed, right? I doubt we'll ever see each other again. Thomas offers you his hand. Farewell, John. You stay on your path no matter what. You shake your friend's hand for the last time. You ruin Thomas's life for your own ends. How much more will you sacrifice before this is finally over? The Chica Sanctuary feels the brunt of the Overseer's fury as well. Brante, I need to execute a few people to convince Gaius Tempest the instigators of the protest have been found. Pick a few people you won't mind losing. It's not an easy choice to make. After thinking long and hard, you decide to go the safe route and hand over several of Moss's agents to the authorities. No one will make those drunks and degenerates. Hey, good riddance to bad rubbish. But don't go thinking I can replace him just like that. I ain't made of goons, yeah? Guess Sir Felipe will have to get by without reports on his enemies for a bit. Okay, so Thomas is exiled. Commoners gaining power. My network is basically gone, but we have reached the point for the unrest thing to trigger. Reputation is basically gone. Okay. Thomas is exiled. Thomas has violated the order of the Overseer. He has been demoted and went into exile. Sound and Fury. This event is a consequence of your previous action. The riots of Anizati are reaching boiling point. The disgruntled crowd that took to the streets 2 days ago are protesting night and day. The pavement is littered with rubbish and broken glass. It is impossible to deny that you had a hand in this. The last straw had spent years of helping the common folk of Anizati realize that they have a right to make their voice heard. Any attempt to silence that voice has led to paroxysms of rage among the people. The Lesser Quorum petitioned Gaius Tempest 3 days ago. The petition asks the Overseer to suspend the nobility's ancient right to be exempt from taxes. This would ease the burden of the poor common folk. The petition never reaches the Overseer. Several furious nobles barged in and formed a stern session. It all ended in bloodshed. The next day, the commoners took to the streets. They demanded that the Overseer adopt the Quorum's proposal at once. They have clamored tirelessly for the nobles' despotism to be punished for 2 days now. The authorities remain silent. The city is on the verge of a revolt. I need you to deal with this at once, Brante. Stop this madness by any means necessary. If these disturbances go too far, noble blood could be spilled. We can't let it happen. But how are you going to stop the crowd? And for that matter, should you? So I could bribe them. I don't have the manipulation to do it. I could threaten them. I don't have the spy network to do that. I could take control of it. I guess that's the only way. The only way to avoid bloodshed is to take control of take charge of the disturbances yourself. Finding the ringleaders of the protests proves to be a simple task. Excited by your offer of support, and you're eager to talk to you. The meetings take place at nights. The dim candlelight casts shadows on their worn faces. You see an ancient-looking woman in a moth-eaten silk garment, a stout middle-aged workman, a gray-eyed old man wearing the white tunic of a new faith priest. You ask them whether they understand that a massacre is about to happen. All the nobles need is a single attack by the commoners, and the Overseer will sick the legion on them. Yeah, you're right, but none of us want bloodshed. But what are we supposed to do if they won't listen to us? What are you suggesting? Alright guys, we're going to call it here. Have a great day and a wonderful week. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and comment below.